Out of all the animals in the world, which ones do you think you could take in a fight? Do you think you could drown a goldfish, or beat up a German Shepherd, or maybe even beat off a horse? Don't worry if you don't have an answer to those questions right now, because today we're checking out a survey performed on a group of people where they ask them exactly what I just asked you. Maybe they worded it up differently, but the sentiment is still the same. They asked them which animals they believe they could take on in a fight, ranging from a rat all the way up to a lion. And the results are pretty daggone interesting, so that's what we're taking a look at today. So this survey was hosted by YouGov America, and before we get into the results, I want to read you the question that the participants were prompted with, so you can really put yourself in that headspace of figuring out which animals you think you could stomp into the ground and send them to an early grave. Hypothetically, of course. Which of the following animals, if any, do you think you could beat in a fight if you were unarmed? So there's no weapons in your hands, just your bare fist and your 8 or so knuckles, however many knuckles you have. So here's the results. I'm going to read them out now. A rat, 72% of people think they could beat a rat. And I'd have to agree with that. You just set down a piece of cheese and you stomp the little bastard. That's all you have to do. A house cat, while they are kind of cute, most of them are the devil reincarnated, but in a much less threatening form, so there's nothing to really worry about there. You can just punt that sucker. Most of them are fat too, so they can't really get far. A goose, 71% think they could take on a goose, and I would definitely have to agree. You just grab that little sucker by the neck and you start squeezing. Like when you walk in Walmart and you grab those chickens that like really scream when you squeeze them, the dog toys or whatever. Just do that to a goose. Grab it by the neck and swing it around like a lasso and that thing's done. Medium-sized dog. So a medium-sized dog, I'm imagining it's like smaller than a German Shepherd but bigger than a Chihuahua. Yeah, I think I could take a medium-sized dog. Maybe let it bite me on the arm and then just like stomp it or something. I'm not going to get into the gory details. I don't like thinking about dog murder. But yeah, I could definitely take a medium-sized dog. Now, eagle. 30% of people think they could take an eagle. Me personally, I don't think I could take an eagle. Let me look up how big is an eagle. I think their wingspan's like 5 feet, ain't it? 6'6"? These things should be in the league, man. Put these people in the NBA. So a bald eagle's wingspan ranges from 5'9" in smaller males to 7'6" in larger females, and the average wingspan is 6'7". Man, oh man, those things are massive. And they got those big giant claws where they can swoop down and probably pick you up off the ground and just fly off with you. They could definitely swoop down, pick up a baby out of a stroller, and then that baby would never be found again. That is scary. I did not know they were that big. I thought it was like 4 or 5 feet at the most. Oh no, I could not take on an eagle. Those things would maul you to death. And then a large dog, even less people think they could take on a large dog, which I would probably have to agree. Something like a German Shepherd. Yeah, that'd definitely take me down. Yeah, I don't think I could take that on. Maybe if I like got a good run and go and kicked it like I was trying to kick a field goal for to win the Super Bowl, maybe I could put it down with a kick, but probably not. A chimpanzee? Heck no, dude. How does 17%, I can't speak, I'm having a stroke. How does 17% of people think they could take on a chimpanzee? Let me look this picture up. Shaved chimpanzee. So we're going to look at a picture of Joe Rogan without any clothes on here, so you be warned. Just look at this. This is a chimpanzee without any fur on it, without any hair. Look at that, man. That is a absolute tank. That is a beast. That thing would rip your arm off and eat it like a drumstick at Disney World. That thing would have no issue killing you. Just look at it. Look at those balls, dude. Oh my god. I'm going to have to censor those, but those are massive balls. Yeah, no way. No way you could take that thing on. The 17% of people who think they could take on a chimpanzee are the same type of people who carry a gun everywhere and think it makes their penis bigger. It's that big dick energy. You think you can do a lot until it comes to the action of beating up a chimpanzee with your bare hands, and then you're done for. King cobra, 15%. Now, a king cobra is very big. I don't know. I don't think I could take on a king cobra because if they get one bite on you, you're done. You're going to have to get really lucky and try to like frog stomp it. Be like Mario stomping on a Goomba. And then maybe you could kill it. But yeah, most likely, no. I'm just shocked that more people think they could take on a chimpanzee than a king cobra. I would definitely put the king cobra above the chimpanzee, but that's just me. Chimpanzees are pretty scary, man. They rip you. Any primate. All primates have ridiculous strength. They literally will snap you like a twig if they want to. And that has happened before. I think there's even like a 911 call or something. I know multiple people have got their faces ripped off by chimpanzees, so if that tells you anything. Now, a kangaroo, 14%. That's a very interesting thing you bring up, because if anyone else has seen that video of the guy punching the kangaroo in the face, he won a fight against the kangaroo. Now, it wasn't to the death, but that kangaroo had his dog in a headlock, choking it out, and the guy walked up to the kangaroo and socked it right in the face, and he won the fight. So, it can be done. I don't think kangaroos... How do people think kangaroos are more scary than chimpanzees and king cobras? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That doesn't make sense. Kangaroos, no. A wolf? Yeah, no way I'm taking on a wolf. Here's a good chart to see how big a wolf is. So there's a gray wolf, there's a coyote, and there's your mother-in-law's lap rat. So they're a little bit bigger than a husky. I would say they're about the size of a German shepherd, I would imagine. Gray wolf, domestic dog. So yeah, they're bigger. They're bigger and they're more ferocious. They're wild animals. They will take you down. And most of the times they do travel in packs, so yeah, you stand no chance. Crocodile, 9% of people think they could take down a crocodile. So if there was 100 people in a room, about 10 of those dudes say, or women, because there's women in this too, they say they could take on a crocodile. What are you going to do to a crocodile? Sorry, my recording shut off, but as I was saying, a bunch of these idiots think they could take on a crocodile. About 1 in 10, I think they could take on a crocodile. What could you physically do to a crocodile? Their skin is so thick, how are you going to penetrate it with your bare hands? What are you going to do, stick your fingers in their eyes? Whoops, there goes your hand because it bit it off. And then a gorilla, 8% of people think they could take on a gorilla. Hold on, I need to take a drink of water here. I'm yelling too much. My throat is like hurting. Are you stupid? Did you get hit in the head too hard when you was playing middle school football? Like, what are you thinking? A gorilla. 17% of people think they could beat a chimpanzee, and then 8%, half of those people, think they could take on a gorilla. A gorilla is like 10 chimpanzees put together. That thing could easily just grab you with its 2 fingers right here like this, and then rip your arm off. What are you going to do to a gorilla with your bare hands? What, are you going to flick his nutsack? You going to punch him in the balls? Well, when he gets done throwing up and crying, he's going to kill you. He's going to rip your head off your shoulders. You can't do anything to a gorilla. Nothing. And now an elephant. 8% of people think they could beat an elephant with their bare hands. You're not going to do anything to an elephant. You're gonna punch at its kneecaps. You're gonna be like that meme of a tall dude holding back a short person. They're just running in place, like Scooby-Doo trying to run away from a villain. You're not gonna do anything to an elephant. Now a lion, 8%. Once again, nothing to be done against a lion. It's going to eat you. It's going to eat you. It is going to kill you. 8% of people are stupid. What a shock. And now the lowest percent, grizzly bears. 6% of people still think they could take on a grizzly bear. Now, I would imagine this 6%, well, obviously that's how it has to work. The 6% who think they could take on a grizzly bear also think they could take on a lion, an elephant, a gorilla, a crocodile, a wolf, and so on up to chimpanzee. Now, I could give people benefit of the doubt all the way up to large dog. Yeah, those are decent things you could probably take on with your bare fist, but chimpanzee and down, not a shot in hell. No. 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 Not unless you somehow get Kryptonian powers and turn into Superman will you ever stand a chance against any of these people. So clearly the results from this survey tell us that people are stupid, and that's no shock really. People are very dumb, but I did find this other chart of the same survey, but it's comparing Americans and British people. Now, I'm not going to go through my rants on each one of these things again because it's the same exact animals, but this is where the difference comes in. Americans think they can take on these animals at much higher rates than British people do. Now, I like to think the reason for this is that Americans are so used to like toting guns and, I don't know, punching people at bars, having bar fights, that they think they're invulnerable. Once again, referring back to big dick energy. They think since they have a lot of killing power with guns and whatnot, They think they can take on animals with their bare hands. And then with British people, they're just used to shanking and shivving people, bruv, so they know their limits a bit better when it comes to what they could take on in a fight. Although, there is a really weird gap here in the goose category. This is the biggest gap by far. Why do so many less British people think they could take on a goose than Americans? Like, are they breeding, like, really vicious geese over there in Britain? I don't get that. Less than about 45% of people think they could take on a goose in Britain, and then above 60% of Americans think they could take on a goose. Which, I don't think a goose is going to hurt you at all. Like, it's going to peck you a little bit, it might leave a little bruise, but you can just sling that sucker around. But once again, this graph here just doesn't really help Americans in this case. It just makes us look even stupider, you know? But it still is surprising that there's at least a couple people, no matter where they're from, that believe they could take on a grizzly bear. Just remember that. There's a couple people, even in Britain, that think they could take on a grizzly bear, elephant, lion, gorilla, crocodile, wolf, and so on with their bare hands. And if you know someone like that, tell them to go to a zoo and jump over the fence and try it. Be the next Harambe victim. For legal purposes, that's a joke. If someone jumps over the railing at the zoo, that's on them, not me. My hands are clean. I didn't do it. So that's pretty much it for that. I just thought that was very funny and I wanted to share it with you. It's a very similar hypothetical to how many toddlers do you think you could take in a fight, but I think this one does require a bit more processing power, so I had to put my 5 head to the test, put it to use, and I got to brain blasting to give you the answers. But I think it's fair to say when it comes to any hypothetical, you're gonna have people that puff their chest out and make themselves look bigger and tougher than they really are, and even walk like they got poop in their pants, all in the hopes of making themselves look cooler in the moment. It's much like taking a penis picture. You know, you gotta get the right angle, the right lighting to make it look bigger, more intimidating and veiny. That's a really good analogy to end off on, so yeah, I'll catch you next time. Peace out. Hello, Colin Kaepernick. Boo! It doesn't matter if you look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. You don't stand a chance. A chimpanzee will still rip you limb from limb like he's playing with a little granddaddy long leg.